Edward Slingerland is also a unabashed materialist and reductionist. He's someone that argues that Darwinian materialism leads logically to the conclusion that humans are robots. And so, our sense of having a will or self or consciousness is just this illusion. Illusion. And yet he admits it is an illusion we find impossible to shake. Bing, keyword, bing, keyword.
Yeah. So the wall is just an illusion, but, every time I walk, I hit it.
Yeah.
So I can't really shake it, but I know it's an illusion.
We're just all a collection of atoms.
In fact, my nose is bloody, but I know the wall is an illusion.
It's a very rude wall for not letting you through. No one can help acting like, and at some level, really feeling that he or she is free, which almost sounds like an ought to do or a must do. Yeah. We are constitutionally incapable of experiencing ourselves and other conspifics, aka humans, as robots. So if it's incapable and we experience something, then what the theory tells us, those are good indicators that the worldview is not talking enough about what we see in the real world.
Yeah, our experiences of the world.
Right. Yeah. We are constituted in such a way that we unavoidably and inescapably experience the lived reality of being moral agents, is what he goes on to write. So how does he resolve the contradiction? Because clearly he's writing all about this. He's established a
worldview, right?
A worldview
that doesn't allow for certain things, right? So it's contradictory to our experience.
And boom, here's a phenomenon that comes up. The planet that we know spins in circles is doubling back on itself. So we've identified it, and so we're going to continue with an explanation within our worldview that's going to take into account the
that's going to explain this for us, right? Yeah, it's going to help us to work through this. So that we
hold on, I'm reading here. He doesn't even try. He said instead.
So he doesn't even try to explain the contradiction in his worldview.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Instead, he says we need to pull off the trick of living with a dual consciousness, cultivating the ability to view human beings simultaneously under two descriptions, as physical systems and as persons, which sounds very much like slavery, doesn't it? We must view these people as both tillers of the field, but I mean also people, I guess. Yeah. Sure. I just had to write down James 1:8. Double-mindedness it leads to an unstable in all his ways. I believe the Bible has talked about this type of dual consciousness.
So it's not original with him. Right?
Yeah. So there's nothing new under the sun. So he explicitly recommends this construction of mental dichotomy, this two-story division that we keep seeing from Nancy Pearcey, and she also has helped to lift it from Francis Schaeffer.
Right.
So kind of as we saw with materialists, put everything physical down in the basement or on the first floor, and then in the attic they put everything of the mind. Where the romanticists do the opposite.
Right.
So
they put the mind up the top. And
anything physical, we don't really want to talk about that.
In the basement.
So dual consciousness at the bottom. Humans are just robots. But then up at
that's
the top,
the real world, right?
Yeah.
Human, for them anyway, right? Yeah.
Which kind of matrixy, right? I think a little bit. And then up at the top, we're free agents. We're persons.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Of course, that's in the attic, and we, that's not real, and we get rid of that, and it sticks out of the box, and so we kind of cut it off.
When people hide in attics, that's bad history. I'm just saying. And of course,
nothing good comes out of the attic.
Yeah, ghosts, Nazis. Yeah, nothing good. So George Orwell famously called this doublethink. When a worldview fails to account for all reality, what do its adherents do? Do they say, "Well, I guess my theory has been falsified. I'll toss it out"? Most people don't give up that easily. Why? Because that is your base root, that your basic assumptions about how you view the world.
So if you did that, you'd have to kind of start all over.
Those things are really hard. Yeah, really hard to give up. And if you think about kind of the Christian story of conversion, it's called putting off the old man and putting on a new. You are a new creation. There's something so revolutionary, transfixed on that change that it launches you into being dead and made alive again.
So Christianity says you have to do that. You have to put off that old worldview, right? And take on the new, right? Yeah.
And so she goes on to say here that a dual consciousness is a signal, bing, 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 that contrary evidence from general revelation is being suppressed. So that should be a good indicator for us to help point them out that they're suppressing evidence here, and then we can include steps 4 and 5 as well. She goes on to say that every non-biblical worldview ends up with some form of dual consciousness or dualism. There will always be a contradiction between the realities that acknowledge what fits in the box and the realities that denies what sticks outside the box, what's in the basement and what's in the attic. A conflict between what it professes and what it suppresses. It will inevitably happen.